My favorite films, All About Eve. This is, I can't wait to share this one with you. It's a great, great film if you are new to Bette Davis, if you love Bette Davis, or you just like kind of this whole period of films. This is definitely one of the better films of the time. So here's the deal. The film was released in 1951, and it was lauded, and there was much acclaim about the film as like being a major piece of cinema. So what does all that mean? It had 14 nominations and won approximately 6 Oscars. The only other film in history to kind of reach that same sort of acclaim or that level in terms of awards was Titanic. So enough of that. Let me tell you a little bit about who's in the film. So first of all, love, love, love Bette Davis, just because she is, in this film she brings so much to this character. There's a complexity to this character because she's at once vulnerable, she's, sort of aged and jaded. So many aspects come together in her portrayal of this person, Margot Channing, of this character Margot Channing. So, just to start off, we have Bette Davis as Margot Channing. We have Anne Baxter as Eve. Then we have George Sanders as Addison DeWitt, who is the critic. Let's see, we have the friend Karen, who is played by Celeste Holm. Then we have Hugh Marlowe as Lloyd Richards. Max Fabian, who is the producer on the film, is played by Gregory Radoff. Then we have Phoebe, who's played by Barbara Bates. And then there's a cameo by Marilyn Monroe, which is great and totally appropriate during the time. And she's as fabulous as ever in the film, even though it's really short. There's another character in here who I really like. Her name is Birdie. Her name is Thelma Ritter. Thank goodness for Thelma Ritter. She always brings a little bit of punch and something, kind of a real quality to every film she's in. When you see her in this film, you'll love her because the way in which she interacts with both Margot Channing, who's played by Bette Davis, as well as Eve, who's Anne Baxter, is great. So here's the story. Basically, you have on the one hand, Bette Davis plays this character who is an aging film actress, and enter Anne Baxter, or Eve, if you will, who comes into her life seemingly wanting to help. Come on, we all know better. So anyway, she comes in seemingly wanting to help. Before you know it, Eve has kind of insinuated herself into Margot's life and into the lives of all of Margot's friends, which would be comprised of producers, other writers, directors, and a critic. So as the story unfolds, it becomes really, really gripping and fascinating because you have all of this sort of manipulation and betrayal going on. And some of the pieces you read will make you think that it's primarily Eve who's doing this. But what you find is that a lot of those prime characters, whether it's Margot Channing or Bette Davis, or whether it's her friend Karen, Celeste Holmes, people are manipulating one minute. They can be the person who's the manipulator one moment, they could be the victim the next, and in the very next moment turn around and be the hero, which is really what makes this so great, in that there are so many dimensions to each of the characters, and so you end up with this I want to say this panoply of people kind of playing and trying to do well and trying to undermine all of these things happening. So what's the bottom line on this movie? It is absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to tell you too much more about it because if I do, it'll spoil it, but just know that Bette Davis opens the door to this woman and later finds out she should have shut it